Good afternoon. This is the video showing the furniture frame pricing module or application under framecosting.py. Once you have cloned the repo onto your local drive, you will navigate to the frame costing folder and enter Python space frame underscore costing.py to get started. Once you get started, it'll give you a little intro and it's going to start asking you your nesting information. In this case, this is a quantity of one frame. How many sheets of plywood is that going to take for one frame? And this is information that you would be getting from your nesting software. And so in that case, we're just going to make up some stuff. In this case, we're going to say that it took 60. We're going to take, let me take that back. We're going to say that it took one whole sheet, and 12 inches into the next one, 90 out of 96. A sheet of plywood is 96 inches by 48 inches. 96 inches, if you think of it from a landscape point of view, in terms of like if you were looking at a picture, whether portrait or landscape, if you think of a sheet of plywood in landscape mode, in other words, wider than it is taller, it's going to be 96 inches from left to right, 48 inches from bottom to top. When the nesting program decides the direction to cut a sheet, 96 in this context is telling the software, okay, we cut one whole sheet and then we're cutting 12 inches into the next, and then we're going to cut a straight line from bottom to top or top to bottom, leaving you with continuing a longer piece, we're going to cut a line from top to bottom, which will kind of dissect the sheet of plywood. If it's going from kind of top to bottom, you're going to use 96 because that's the measurement and length that the 12 inches is taking up, meaning that your remainder is going to be 96 minus 12, which is going to be 84. And so just kind of give you that little bit of information. So once you put that in a quantity of 1, it's going to ask you quantity of 5. Now these were the numbers that we used at ReadyFrame, so you may adjust it differently. But so quantity of 1 was one sheet, 12 inches out of 96. Quantity of 5, again, we're just going to make up some information. We're going to say that it was 3 full sheets, and 36 inches out of the next 96. Again, a line from top to bottom or bottom to top. Now, this is going to ask you one more time. Quantity of 10. It's going to see what that nesting result was. In this case, we're just going to simplify it and just kind of sort of just double what we had. In this case, 6 whole sheets, and out of 36, out of 96, let's say it got a little bit of better yield this time. And we're going to say that it only used 55 inches out of the next 96. Now it's going to ask you how much each sheet of plywood is costing you per square foot. Now, again, that is, a sheet of plywood is 96 inches by 48 inches, or, well, I'm not going to go into that part, but that's the size. So you would take what the price of a sheet of plywood is, say $15, divide that out by the footage. I'm not going to get that detailed. I don't want to bring that up right now, but I would like to come back and add where you just put in a price of a sheet, and then it would pop out what your price per square foot is. Anyway, so for this, we're going to say that it is per square foot, 87 cents. I wish, but here we are. Now we're going to be asking what your hardwood information is. We're going to start with the back rail, which is, we're going to say that that's 50 inches and 1 3/4. And then we're going to say your bottom back rail, which is another 55 inches and 2 7/8. And then we're going to get a couple of rails and a couple of arm rails and say that they were only 24 inches, and we made them 2 7/8 thick. Once you've been you put in all of your hardwood, you will get to this point and you will just need to it will ask you again quantity. Well, we don't have anything else. Hit enter. Now it's going to ask you square foot price for the hardwood. And we're going to say in this case 75 cents. We're going to say assembled, meaning it's going to be put together manually by somebody working for us. And we are going to pay that man or that person $1.50. And we're going to pay to build it. And we're going to pay somebody 75 cents to spring it up. An overhead factor of 5%. No, that's not right. Yeah, we're going to say, in this case, we're going to say 10% and profit margin of 7%. That should tell us total hardwood footage, average plywood footage. Cost of plywood is going to be $21 per frame with a total hardwood price of $4.34 a frame. Total materials and labor, which includes your knock-up and spring-up price, $29, and then just repeating after 6.6. Cost of goods sold, $32. That counts in your overhead, and it's going to ask if you. It's going to give you an idea for a quote. Save as. We're going to say that this is a PB comfy chair, which is not, and then it saves it. And if you look in your folders, which I'm going to open back up, it is opened and it has this. It is giving you a text version of that information to take further. Now, I didn't really go further than that with this back in the day, but that is your general video on how this works.